Greetings and welcome. This is the New Thought Media Network. I am Ken Ludwig, and you are watching the Vibrant Living Hour. Hope you are fine. This day finds you doing whatever it is that you love most, that you are enjoying yourself, that you are living your best life. Got to bear with me here for a second because this lighting was perfect here just 10 minutes ago, and now I have to make an adjustment. Let's see if I can do this and make it work. There you go. Much better. Okay. The shiny head thing doesn't work. By the way, I don't know if you've noticed it all, but it took a long time to find them, but I finally found a pair of glasses. You can see that they just do not reflect into the camera the way the others do. You can actually see my eyeballs most of the time. I love these glasses. They're very cool. So again, I hope this day finds you healthy, safe, happy, enjoying your life, doing the best you possibly can under the circumstances, under the conditions that you find yourself in at the moment, living your highest and best. I'm going through this really amazing shift in my life right now, which I'm thrilled about and I'm excited about, and it really feels good. And it's kind of simplistic. It's kind of basic, kind of elementary. I am focusing my attention on love. I don't know how many people think that makes sense or if they agree with the idea of focusing on love, but it seems to me that right now in the world, we are focused so much on divisiveness, on separation, on hatred, on war, on things that keep us all apart. And the only thing that will ever bring us together is love. And I am convinced of that. And it's been an interesting, I don't know, a week, 10 days, whatever it is, that has led me to this place of kind of focusing my attention all the time on what is not love. I think Marianne Williamson famously said that every single thing that happens to us in this life is either an expression of love or a call to love. Nothing could be more right on than that. Either it's an expression of love or it's a call to love. And that really applies to every single facet of our lives. There is, you can look up love in the dictionary, and I just looked it up a while ago. Love is, according to this particular dictionary, whatever this is, it's an intense feeling of deep affection or a great interest and pleasure in something. That's the dictionary definition. Great, fabulous, wonderful. But if I ask 10 people what their definition of love is, I'm going to get 10 different answers, 10 completely different definitions for each person's place in the world, where they are at the moment. And they're really, I was thinking when I first started thinking about this as a subject for the show, I realized there is absolutely no subject in the world about which more songs have been written than love. And I kept puppy love, teen love, married love, unrequited love, lost love, broken love. What else did I have here? Rejected love, love at the five and dime. Doesn't matter what it is. Love has been written about in more ways than any other subject in the history of mankind. And I think we're at a point in history where it's worth it for me and for us as a collective consciousness to reflect on each situation in our lives where we find ourselves unloving. How can I be more loving? How can I answer that call to love? Think about what's going on in your world right here and right now, today. Maybe you've got some things going on in the micro, in your personal life, in your family life, in your relationship life, that you can immediately relate to the fact that, wow, this is going on and it is unloving. Maybe you can think about what you're doing to yourself in your way of self-care. Maybe your self-care is 3 packs of cigarettes and 14 Diet Cokes a day. Joe Dispenza would say, that's not loving to me. So there are those examples in the micro, but how about the macro? How about the politics? How about the war? How about the war in Ukraine? I have spent the last several days in my meditations in the morning a good deal of time sending love to Ukraine and the people of Ukraine. But also I have been sending love to Russia and the people of Russia, and even to Vladimir Putin. I've tried, so I don't know if this is right or wrong, but I've even tried Um, loving 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 the growing irrelevance of a certain demented, um, twice impeached, disgraced former occupant of the White House. I don't know if that's loving or not loving, but I'm trying to approach everything from that standpoint of loving energy. And I read something on the show I think I read it last week. Last week we had Arun Gandhi on the show. And by the way, if you missed my show with Arun last week, the interview with Arun Gandhi, please go look it up. It's on my YouTube channel. It is on my Facebook page. It's also on my Vibrant Aging branded Facebook page with my beloved Lisa. You will find that interview there. You can find it on New Thought Media, but the only issue there is that you have to scroll through every other show between this week and last week to get to it. It's easier to find it on my, actually, it's the easiest place to find it is on the Vibrant Aging Facebook page or on my YouTube channel. But we talked a lot about love. We talked a lot about the lack of love in the world today. Mother Teresa famously said that we're in this space of violence and division because we've forgotten that we belong to one another. We are each other. I am in you, you are in me. There is no place where you end and I begin, or vice versa. So I think it's imperative that each of us take a moment to just look at what I just said, what the question I mentioned earlier. Where am I being unloving? Where is my life being less than loving? I have this thing I read. I'm sorry, I was going to read this. I started off when I was talking about my interview with Arun. There's a couple of studies here done kind of, one feeds off the other, if you will. But there was German researchers at the University of Kassel. The human chest on the average person emits 20 photons of light per second. Photons are, a measurement of light. 20 photons per second, because every cell of your body generates light in the electrical charges that make it operate. There's light that comes from that. That's why you really, literally, truly are a being of light. When we talk about that, that is not woo-woo. That is not metaphysics. That is not new thought. That is absolutely 100% science. You are a being of light. You are emitting light every moment of your life. Now, if you meditate, and you meditate from your heart space, which is really a transfer for me, because normally I'm meditating from either my third eye space or just from my head space in general. And I may go around my body and travel around as I'm doing healing with breathing work on my spine, or with the things whatever it is that I'm looking to help, or to help, I guess is the best word, within my body. Things I want to change, things that I would like to improve my health in my body. I may go around like that, but for the most part, my meditation is up here. But these studies show that if you meditate from your heart space and you send love and light to others, doesn't matter what it is, that you increase the generation of those photons by some 5,000 times. You go from 20 photons per second to 100,000 photons per second. And a corollary study found that if you are sending this love energy, this light and love energy out to others, these photons have the potential to vibrate at a frequency high enough to change matter, to heal illness, and to change or transform negative events. And I guess that's where this all started with me, was from this thing with these studies. If I focus love energy into the negative situation that is this war, perhaps, just perhaps, I can change it. And what really occurred to me around that was, there's not a darn thing I can do other than that, as far as this war is concerned. Oh, I could give, a little bit of money to the Red Cross or to Doctors Without Borders, or, someone who's doing some good in the region. But that's, a drop in the bucket. What I can really do is raise consciousness. And if I raise consciousness, perhaps, just perhaps, I can facilitate raising the consciousness of others. If I spread this message, perhaps you who are listening to the show today or in the archives, whenever you get to it, perhaps you can also help to raise the vibration, and we can get those 100,000 photons each vibrating at such a level as to literally transform the negative event that is this war. Jimi Hendrix, the great rock and roll musician, famously said, when the power of love overcomes the love of power, then we will know peace. That's a great statement from a rock and roller, a rock and roller who was famously also a heroin addict, but it was great. Happy Thursday, Eniko. Hi, Eniko and Cheryl. Glad you both are with me today. I'm so thrilled to see your faces. We're talking about love. And in the conversation about love, I would love to, anybody who's watching live today, please give me a comment. Tell me, what do you think about love? What is your thought about loving change? Loving to make change, loving to facilitate change. What do you think about that? I would love to know that. Eniko, it's not been Eniko says love is my favorite theme. It has not been my favorite theme, but it is rapidly becoming my favorite theme because I think it's monstrously important right here in this point in history for us to love one another. We have our differences. To love and to be loved is the most amazing feeling in the world. That's absolutely 100% true, Eniko. That is, not only on a romantic level, but it's also true on just a relational level. When we love one another as friends, as people, as associates, as fellow humans, as Mother Teresa said, we forget that we belong to one another. I am in you, you are in me, and there is no place where one ends and the other begins. What I do by way of loving or not loving you, or by way of loving or not loving myself, also translates into how I interact with you. I interact on a relational level. Yes, Cheryl, great love brings great change in everything. It's virtually impossible to make a change with negative energy. If you make a change, if you really want to facilitate a change, make a big change in your life, you have to do it with love. You have to love what you're doing. You have to love the potential of the change. Then you have to love the belief in the change. And then my thought is always, then you want to vision it. You want to see what it looks like and love the vision. And you want to love the vision from using all 5 of your senses. You want to see it. You want to hear it. You want to smell it. You want to feel it. You even want to taste it. Use all 5 of your senses and lovingly embrace the vision of the change, and then go about creating the change that you wish to change, or the change that you wish to make. Having a sip of my CBD infused coffee, my Thursday afternoon treat on my podcast. I had some things, there some things love related, if you will, that I printed out today. That I really love, and one of them is one of the most famous love quotes ever. It's from Dr. Martin Luther King, of course, and it says, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." I had an incident today, just before the show started. Someone came onto my radar, someone who I have not liked for a very long time. Someone who at one point I was friends with, someone who did something to me that just made me go, "You got it. You own it. That's yours. See you, bye." And my wife said to me immediately, she said, "Wow, there's a challenge to love." In every instance, it's either an expression of love or a call to love. That was a call to love. I have to allow this person to have grown into something bigger than the box that I had put them in at the time when we had whatever it was that I perceived to be a slight. Mahatma Gandhi said, "When I despair, I remember that all through history, the way of truth and love have always won." There have been tyrants and murderers, and for a time, they can seem invincible. But in the end, they always fail. Think of it. Always. We have a spiritual circle that we do. My beloved Lisa and I are with a group of other people, friends of ours, that we have a spiritual circle about once a month. And in our circle, this past Tuesday, we talked about the situation in the world. And one of our group is a very, very thoughtful guy, very spiritual guy, who really has a kind of a negative attitude about where we're at in the world, and has, I should say negative so much as a pessimistic outlook, or even maybe less than pessimistic, just not optimistic outlook. And he thinks that the human condition is such that our hate and our separateness and our warring with one another, not just in Ukraine, but physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in business, however we are warring with one another, that is the human condition. That is what we do. That is how we act in the world. And I disagree. And I think Gandhi's quote there speaks to that. The ways of truth and love have always won. And if you stop and think about it, it's true. Tyrants and murderers and dictatorships, eventually they have all crumbled. Every single one of them. So it's the way of love that makes the difference. I saw a quote here from, this doesn't really say, there's no love, I don't think, in this entire quote, but this is from the late Grateful Dead guitarist and singer and writer, Jerry Garcia. What we're thinking about is a peaceful planet. We're not thinking about anything else. We're not thinking about any kind of power. We're not thinking about any of those kinds of struggles. We're not thinking about revolution or war or any of that. That's not what we want. Nobody wants to get hurt. Nobody wants to hurt anybody. We would all like to live an uncluttered life, a simple life, a good life, and think about like moving the whole human race ahead, a step or a few steps. And think about like moving the whole human race ahead, a step or a few steps. Think we move the whole human race ahead, a step or a few steps, once again, by going to love. What is my default? My default has been, I should say it's not, because it is, because that's not true now. My default is anger. My default is annoyance. But the people on the road, the drivers, that's always the prime example, but people in the grocery store being rude, whatever it is, my response is not to love. My response is not to compassion, or I should say it has not been up until now. I'm changing that. I am absolutely changing that, because I know I'm aware enough to realize when I am not being loving. I know that. When I know it, I can't unknow it, right? We can't unknow it. So the response is to go to love. There's an old quote from Rumi. The minute I heard my first love story, I started looking for you, not knowing how blind that was. Lovers don't finally meet somewhere. They're within each other all along. I love that quote, and I love it just not from the standpoint of lovers. I love it from the standpoint of humanity. We are in each other all along. Once again, I am you, you are me. We are within each other. The divine spark is in each and every single one of us. It is the core of our existence. I am an emanation of the one, of the divine, as are you. And in such as that is the truth, there is no difference between us. Yes, you look different. You recognize you as you. You recognize me as me. And we recognize the people in the world as who they are by way of personality and physical appearance. But in the end, we are all the same thing. We are all God's stuff. I don't care, I don't really care what your religious beliefs are or your spiritual beliefs. If you believe that there is an overarching creative intelligence in the world, and that it, or he or she, or whatever you want to believe, in my cosmology, it's an it, because there is no gender for the overarching creative intelligence of the universe. But if everything is created from that, what exactly did it create it from? If the overarching creative intelligence is all that there is, the only thing it creates from is itself. In which case, you are God stuff in walking form. You are God stuff in human form. You are that God stuff having the human experience that the overarching creative intelligence decided it wanted you to have at whatever point it put you here. Think about it. I'm really clear in my mind right here and right now that the only answer to everything, I am loving everything. I'm loving my health. I'm loving my beloved Lisa's existence. I'm loving my those of you who know the situation here, my sister-in-law Amy shattered her kneecap, and Lisa has been pretty much her caregiver since it started 2 months ago, over 2 months ago now. And I am loving her knee, loving the healing of her knee, not praying for the rapid healing, loving the healing of her knee. I am loving our search for a new home. I am loving the highest and best outcome for that search. And I'll tell you what, in my meditations the last several days, that is the entire focus. And I really am going to that heart space. I'm going to that heart space and I'm meditating from here, emanating love. And I have never, ever in my life, in over 40 years of meditation, I have never in my life felt better when I get up from my meditation. I am almost invigorated by the idea of taking that love energy into my day, into the world. I am loving what I have to do. I am loving my clients. I'm loving my customers. I'm loving the things that I represent. I'm loving everything about my life in this moment. If you know, I'm 70 years old, well, I wish I was 70 years old. I'm 71 years old. And I had this conversation with my sister-in-law earlier today. As we age, Mother Nature takes things away from us. Maybe we have an injury. Maybe we just are have age-related deterioration. But Mother Nature takes things from us as we age. And what we have to really, really learn to live with is accepting those limitations, but going on to enjoy life. And the way to do that is to love the deteriorations. I am loving what's going on in my spine with the degenerative disc experience that I'm having. I'm loving it back to health as best I can, but I am loving my life within the limitations of whatever I have found limited, with a little bit of discernible pain in my back most of the time. I have to love what our possibilities are. I have to love what my possibilities are and not get caught up in what isn't anymore. Not get caught up in the things that age takes from us. I am not as strong as I once was. I am not as, I'm not a lot of things that I once was. I'm not as cute as I once was. But none of those things affect who I am. It's just simply a part of the physicality. If I accept that, learn to enjoy my life from the standpoint of, or from the perspective of what I have, not what I've lost, then I'm going to enjoy my life every single day. And I'm loving my experiences. And I'm loving what I have of my life. What are your thoughts? If you're out there, make a comment, ask a question. Tell me what you think. How is love showing up in your life? How is the lack of love showing up in your life? How can you right now consciously, as you're listening to me talk, maybe you're thinking about what I'm talking about, how can you consciously say to yourself, wow, I am not being loving here, and I could certainly improve that by changing the paradigm. It's a choice to love. It's an absolute choice. You don't have to. You don't have to. I'm here to tell you, if you don't, life is harder than if you do. And there's, as I mentioned earlier, there's never been more songs written about any thing in the world more than there have been written about love. And the reason for that is because it is something that we all experience at one level or another, whether we experience it from the standpoint of expression or lack, whether we experience it from the position of absolute head over heels, can't stand it love, or we are in a position of unrequited love, or having broken love, or having love tossed back in our faces. We still are all dealing with love in one way, shape, or form. I really am conscious of how much of the time I am not loving. And we are here to love one another. We are here to love one another. We are here to love the beings that the divine sought fit to put here at the same timeline that we are here. I can hate every single thing. Let's get personal. I can hate every single thing about Vladimir Putin. I can hate everything that he does, everything that he says, everything that he's doing in Ukraine. I can hate all of that. What I can't do is hate Putin. I'm required by my integrity, by the truth of who I am, as hard as it may be, I am required to love the being that is showing up as Putin. That's hard to even wrap my mind around sometimes, but that's what I'm required to do here in this moment. Interesting subject, interesting thought. And I don't have a lot more for you. If you've got something for me, please throw it out. You will never move forward in hate. Charles says, listening to the emotions concerning the war, loving the people from both sides, wanting a better world for us all is the only way to go forward. And that is absolutely 100% spot on, Cheryl. That's the truth of it. We have to love everyone concerned. We have to love them into peace and harmony. Because again, what I said early on, it's the only thing we can do. There's not another damn thing we can do about this war, except try our darndest to raise consciousness around it, to lift the consciousness to love and peace. It can be done. I've talked about this before, but if you look up, just Google meditation and crime in Chicago, and you will see there are a couple of different studies, I believe, that were done where they had a certain number of people meditate on reducing the crime rate in Chicago. And I believe it was Chicago. I'm pretty sure it was. And during a specific time frame, they reduced the crime rate by like 25%. Now, somewhere along the line, somebody has extrapolated out what it takes to affect a certain population. Now, you can take this with however many grains of salt you wish, but the formula was that the square root of 1% of the population is a sufficient number of people to meditate to change what's going on within the population. So just to translate that for everybody, if you have 10,000 people, 1% of them is 100. The square root of 100 is 10. So 10 people meditating on love, peace, and harmony, lack of stress, whatever you pick whatever you want. They can affect the lives of 10,000 people. Again, take that with however many grains of salt you wish. But the truth of the matter is, I believe meditation is a raising of consciousness, and meditation around negative events can lift them out of their negativity. So it's incumbent upon all of us who are meditators, all of us who are people of faith. If you pray You don't have to meditate. If you pray, focus your attention from the heart on peace and love and harmony in Ukraine and then around the world. Start with your neighborhood. Start in your house if you need to. For some of us, we need to start that paradigm within the confines of the four walls in which we live. Got to start somewhere. You can only start where you are. So start. So I'm enjoying my CBD infused coffee here today, as I do most Thursday afternoons during the Vibrant Living Hour. This show is brought to you by HempWorks. And HempWorks is right there on your screen, www.hempworks.com/Ken Ludwig. I just want you to know this is how I monetize my existence in the world, is by promoting these products. These products are off the charts. They are the single cleanest, purest, most efficacious CBD and hemp infused products you're going to find anywhere on the planet. Everything from skincare to hair care to your CBD oils in both broad spectrum and full spectrum. We have CBD treats for pets, bacon flavored CBD oil for your pets. We have the coffee, my HempWorks CBD coffee. We have, in the skincare line, there's this amazing hand cream, that hand and body cream. I can never quite get this one focused right, but I love this stuff. It's really thick and it really does work. It lasts for a very long time. Of course, we have our relief cream, which helps to, we're not supposed to make the medical claims, but I'm telling you right here and right now, you've got aching muscles, aching joints. This is the thing. You have this endocannabinoid system in your body, which is a series of receptors on virtually every single cell of your body that is waiting for cannabinoids, CBD, cannabidiol. And what CBD does in your body is promote homeostasis. So when you have pain, this promotes balance and the relieving of the pain. Interestingly enough, as a topical, your skin cells have an abundance of those CBD receptors, maybe more than a lot of other ones, and a lot of other cells. And it absolutely will relieve pain. It just does. And what else we got here? We got, of course, my tinctures, my CBD oil, both, as I mentioned, broad spectrum, which is THC free, full spectrum, which has 0.3% or less THC in it, in 7 different flavors and 3 different concentrations. You will find the right CBD oil for you. All you got to do is find me, and I'll be glad to tell you about it. Cheryl's saying here, I read today the Ukrainian teachers are continuing to teach through distance learning. Many of those kids are displaced and in different countries foreign to them. How can you put anything into the collective but love for all people affected, all people in the world? I love, that's absolutely true. And Cheryl actually then commented about my hand cream that I just said. She loves the hand cream. And she says that the hand cream accelerated the fading of some deep bruising she had on her arm or on her hand or on her arm, not sure which, from an IV. If you ever had an IV, you can get pretty bruised from those babies. And so that made a difference for her. By the way, anybody who's out there, we're talking about love. And I'm talking about right now, I'm talking about the sponsor, the HempWorks sponsor for the show. But if you have any comments or questions or thoughts about love, please throw them in the comments section. If you have any thoughts or comments or questions about HempWorks, throw them in the comments section as well. I'm always glad to answer them. The other thing I wanted to tell you is that there was a product I was using that had been disconnected. And it was a product that I was using for sleep. And I went back to an old favorite. And this is a product made by the company under which HempWorks is part of their umbrella, or it's under HempWorks is under the umbrella of this company, My Daily Choice. My Daily Choice started as a company with a series of daily sprays, and this one is called Sleep. And I finally got it yesterday, and I used it last night, and it just works. If you got any challenges with sleep whatsoever, This is an amazing product. These daily sprays, we have sleep. I also take one. It's called Trim 365. It helps to, can you get it up there, Lud, so people can see it? Maybe a little too shiny for that. But Trim 365 does two things. It helps to suppress your appetite, but it also helps your body, or facilitates your body not making fat cells. That's not the way to express that, but it prevents your body from making fat cells. Main ingredients, Garcinia cambogia in that. We have another one called Boost. This is better than caffeine. This is better than an energy drink. It's just, these are all sublingual sprays. You do 8 sprays of this under your tongue, and you got a whole different world going on. And the last one is that I have on my desk here is called eCell. eCell is just cellular energy, and it's a fascinating product as well. So there's some things to help you as far as vibrant living is concerned. Those are products to help you help your body live a more vibrant and healthy life. If you are looking at Instagram, you can find me sometimes at evolving_hippie on Instagram. Just an aging hippie here, and that's how you find me with the Instagram stuff, if that's what you're interested in. We are a 100% nonprofit organization, the New Thought Media Network, and we thrive on your donations. Whatever you feel compelled to give, we are absolutely grateful. newthoughtmedia.org. Click on donate. That's ntmedia.org. Click on donate, and we are thrilled to get your donation. We thank you very, very much. You can find me at that scroll right there, team rockitnow@gmail.com, or you can find me on my Facebook page that I mentioned earlier, the Vibrant Aging Facebook page. I can't think of anything because I have this, and Cheryl once again chimes in, the sleep sprays are golden. I have even used it for my granddaughter. That's one of the really incredible things about all of these sprays are primarily, they're safe for any age group whatsoever. You want to take it easy with things like the Trim 365. You don't want to be using that on kids, but or with kids. But that's the sleep spray, the boost spray. Those are all things that really help any age bracket whatsoever. Anybody else out there got a question, a thought about love, about New Thought Media Network, about any of my sponsoring products, anything out there? Because I only had that one short little bit for you today on love, and that's pretty much going to be the show today, I believe. As always, I want to thank you for the great gift that is your time and attention. I wish you all love and all the blessings that the universe has to offer. Hope you will join me every Thursday for the Vibrant Living Hour. Until next time, namaste.